Well, it's late in the day, Free Enterprise fans. Hello, everybody. Talking about the fact that looks like a lot of our chat has been all over the Restream land today, and you're back at Free Enterprise for the last race of the night. Thank you all for coming out for one more time. I am Demarine2. I am joined tonight by Imperial Dragon. How are you doing tonight?
Doing alright. Looking forward to this.
Anything in particular you're looking forward to?
Honestly, I'm partially just excited to actually be commentating again, but...
That is completely fair. It's good to have so many volunteers out, so it's good to have you back on the microphone as well, and it's good again to have Oscar on the back end here doing the restream. We have Bursic Badger on the tracker. We had a lot of people volunteer today, so of course thank you all. But we're here tonight for this race between moonblazewolf and konkers on the Threemus Zone flags for the group stage. This is the first race of their group. Both runners are 1-0 because their group did have a forfeit. So what do you think about these objectives right now?
Not too bad. A little bit, the Tower of Zot and Baron Castle can be a little bit on the easier side, as long as they're not in a very mean place.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that there's no truly open spots that they have access to that are required. Zot does require Earth Crystal, Baron Castle does require the Baron Key, so they're both also really long checks. So, usually people are trying to avoid them. This time, they get a choice? Probably not. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. Of these two runners, they've both been around the community a long time here, which is pretty great. moonblazewolf had a big run, top 8 finish at Football Gauntlet, and has been a high finisher in multiple competitions. konkers has been around the community a lot as a volunteer and has shown up at events and things. So another person a lot of people know, but he is not quite as good of a runner. But it's not to state that he doesn't have what it takes to take this one down today.
Looking forward to seeing them both do this.
Absolutely. So we've got the Edward start, and we're probably going to kick off in just a moment here then.
Any starts are fun.
That's fair. People seem to like Edward starts, at least from the spectator point of view. As a character, he's not bad in the early game. You can equip bows, dancing daggers. Gives you access to Edward strats, which are both loved and maligned at the same time. So we'll kind of see how all of that plays out.
And here we go.
Who do we have backing up Edward? Oh, it's old man Tella and an adamant. Alright, so it's 4 singular key items. We need 3 of them. And we're likely to see the top bound reveal sometime tonight.
Yeah, because Tella, anytime I do this, if I see him, I'm gonna do ordeals.
Tella has basically risen in value over the entirety of the life of Free Enterprise. The entire 2 years, Tella's gone from, oh god, why, to, I guess I'll deal with it, to yay, it's Tella, I can do a lot of really, really cheesy things. So hopefully it'll work out.
I mean, with the removal of Fu, it kinda... He makes a lot of grinding options possible.
He does. He makes a lot of boss options possible as well. You do get like the level 3 magics, you get Fyrus, you can get Weak. So both super useful. konkers on the right goes to Watery Pass first, which is a play a lot of runners have been making. With this T Wildish and then for the later rounds T Pro, the more isolated a location is, the better the gear that you could potentially get here. So Watery Pass has a lot of high value. So Cecil on the right for konkers, and on the left we had Kane, and I think that was Palom.
I'm always bad at telling the difference between the two of them.
Very, very, very same, especially when I just missed it. Yeah, especially with Tele, water pass tends to be a play people like to make because of the exit spell and the ability to just bail out of here at any time.
Yeah. Usually I don't touch the watery pass unless I've got eggs.
It's understandable, certainly. Blaze is going to make the same play here. Conker's going to give us a first look at the Kaipo shop setup, and potentially who's behind Sand Ruby.
Ready in the bed.
So, unlikely to see a Sand Ruby stop unless we need an anchor in the end game, potentially, because her starting agility is the lowest in the game, which of course is very handy for anchoring strats. We've got Cure 3s here, also saw Charm Arrows for sale. So, it's great that these things are for sale. The tough thing about doing your shop loop before your chest loop is that we've got no money. We're broke. Like, turbo broke.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, it does mean that they know what places not to go back for, but...
I mean, Cure 3s are great. Like, you know, we don't know if we're going to get a white mage. There's no assurance that a white mage will show up to parties, so... Well, we know that Horn's in the seat, but, you know, a lot of the time, seeing Cure 3s means we're not very sure that there is going to be a healer for easy use.
Or it could be one of the times when the healers just don't show up in any obvious place.
Yep. Conker's picking up a Lilith Rod and an Hourglass too here, and a Rune Ring, so Damsian Treasury punching way above its usual weight class for these flags, which is nice to see.
Definitely.
So, Lord Hyal asking, why are some chests already open? Well, one of the flags we have for this tournament is sparse 60%, so 40% of the chests come already opened, which is great, because then you don't have to open them.
That's bad, because you don't get the items.
But not opening treasure chests is the best feeling in the world.
I don't know about that one.
There are occasional free enterprise things I have opinions about, and opening treasure chests are like 5 of them.
Fair enough.
Conker's going in the back and going to give us a look at this boss here, and we're going to see it is a Lunar Spark. He does not tell us which Lunar Spark it is, though. So.
That was a very fast reset.
Yep. Also, this is a gentle reminder to chat, please don't spoil races from earlier in the day. You're all doing a great job of that because a lot of people like to go watch them back. So maintain that hype, keep your spoilers in the race spoiler chat on the Discord, and if you're not on the Discord, join the Discord. Bursic got there first.
Yeah, the Discord's a very friendly place.
Good pickup for Konkers there. There's a ninja sword in the single chest room that a lot of runners have been skipping. Edward to the bench for Blaze, so counting on this being a longer seed, not concerning with Edward strats as a possibility, immediately without much hesitation, sending the bard to the bench.
Oh, there's a Pale Dim.
Okay, so that was Pale Dim. Okay, so we now know what boss that is, at least, and it is off of the table. Probably not the lunar boss I'd want to see there if I was looking for a off-the-table lunar boss, but hey, we take it if we get it.
Like we're gonna see Hobbs.
Always interesting. It's always interesting, because Hobbs is not a really popular spot because of the no boss hunts, but of all the characters to find up here, doing pretty good, I think. looks like it's time to gonna bench Cecil. So gonna bench Cecil because of the vanilla agility. Cecil can be a bit of a problem. So double Kane, Tella, double White Mage.
Not a bad setup.
No, I'm into this. This is a comp I love running, honestly. All we need now is an Avenger, and then, you know, we're good. But then it's just party time. Avenger, of course, letting us give a sword wielder permanent berserk. That would be either Cecil or Kane. Kane, arguably, it is the best weapon in the game for Kane. So.
Yeah, definitely. I will say there are places that I like seeing King, Queen, Eblin. Antlion is not one of them.
Now this boss spot's usually pretty easy. We don't want to get a freebie here if we can help it. This boss is a completely free fight. Goes through its script a couple times, and then they will fell themselves if it comes to that. If you take out the king, the queen's next action is also just to die. So. Already a lot of talk about Edward strats here and whether or not it's on the table here. You know, again, all key item objectives and one on the moon usually means we're going to get our grind probably, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Coffin on the back of Hobbs as well, so pretty nice. Defense sword as well. Good start. We're gonna get the package on the right screen for Konkers here, so not exactly the item you really want to see in these flags.
Yeah, not the best.
Nope, it's a key item at least, so it puts us on 2. Again, 10 is for double experience, so there's at least that. Again, most people not terribly interested in this character given the amount of time it takes to make it happen. So a little bit of the divergence is sort of coming back together here. Konkers is heading to Mysidia to get the characters, and Blaze is now down in the bowels of the Antlion Cave here.
Let's see what Konkers chooses to do.
Yep, things are going to get real interesting on characters real quickly here. So sees a second Kane and hovers Edward. Hovers Porum. Sends Porum to the bench instead, so not taking the assured White Mage, not knowing that there's a second one up on top of Hobbs.
That is an interesting decision.
Interesting call, certainly. Again, a lot of things with party composition. I think that's a lot of kind of the thematics behind Threemus Zone. Is a lot of that is that party selection, because you know you've got access to lots of characters, but in these early rounds you're not allowed to go get characters that you've dismissed. So you gotta make some commitment to those characters, because they are not. If you leave somebody behind, they're gone.
Yeah. And sometimes you kick yourself later because you got rid of someone to get a really good weapon for them immediately after.
Everything can be sold for gold. Everything.
True enough.
So Konker's taking a little bit of a hop skip ahead in terms of progression here, going up to Ordeals first, and oh well, hey, look, another Rosa. This one, 100% more free. Hovers Edward a second time. Hovers Edward real hard. Hovers Cecil.
Cecil goes to the bench.
Cecil getting the rest of the night off here. Plenty of White Mages today. Tella for Warp. Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, can't complain about this party comp.
No, this one will be, at least from a party composition standpoint, should be pretty doable. Both our runners have already benched the Dark Knight here, so first look at Baron here.
Another Rosa.
Wait, was I involved in rolling the seed? Ether 2's here in Ether 2 is a very interesting and useful item here in Baron. With Tella, you're going to want a way to reload your mana. Also, if you're going to go grind D machines, you want to have a handful of them. So, Blaze looking over the old inventory, going to sell out here, it looks like. And Evil Wall's the first boss. Good spot for Evil Wall. Banks game. We love this.
Definitely.
Absolutely one of the weakest spots in the game here.
And it looks like Moonblaze is coming to join.
Both runners highly prioritizing getting upgraded Tella here. Blaze does have a bit of an advantage, does have a defense sword, so in terms of having real weapons, Tella's, or one Kane will have a real weapon at least.
Can't say I disagree on switching for the Rosa there.
Yeah, that's honestly just a straight upgrade, just in terms of health and stats, and so no reason to keep a Porum when you can trade her in for a Rosa, and you can keep our wonderful child safe forever, because she gets to take the rest of the day off. God, chat's very excited about that virus recall. Those 5% spells, they're a little hard to come by.
I've actually never seen Recall do virus before.
Recall has a 5% chance of doing 3 really big spells virus week, and the week hits everything, and fatal.
Wow, that is a very powerful week.
Yep. Actually popped up in the gauntlet already once, had happened to Dark Imps for somebody. So we'll see, that wall is starting to approach Konkers pretty quickly here. Canes are jumping here. We don't have any real weaponry for Edward. I think we had a Great Bow, but some decent arrows for sale. But Great Bow is not exactly great, all things considered, so... We're gonna see, this is gonna be a bit of a push for Konkers here, as we've reached the crush phase, which will, as you can see, just instantly kill characters. So now it just does not matter, because your party is just gonna start dying. You have to burn through a lot of life potions to loot through things. Yeah, defense sword carrying the day for Blaze. So what are you looking for here in the second spot right now?
Oh gee. I guess a Mist Dragon's there.
So what are your thoughts on this one?
There's worse places to see the Mist Dragon. And it's nice for the extra key item.
Yeah, very true. It's a good one. It's certainly a good boss to see. You don't have that specter of Mist Dragon hanging over your head, which I do appreciate a lot.
And I prefer it here to some of the moon spots.
That's true. It can be a frightening. It could be a frightening thing to run into it up on the moon, where the big thing is that it just hits hard, but you have all the time in the world to get yourself recovered. Ends up being real interesting. Chat is just like all up in arms about finding Demist on the moon. It's like, it's just a time. It's like seeing orbs. It's just time consuming. It's not bad. It's just a giant waste of time. Blazes through.
And to the chat, I really don't know that Demas being at the bottom of the sealed cave is necessarily where I want to see it with this flag set.
That's fair. I just want to see Miss Dragon. That's the goal.
Because the number of times when I've been running this that I've actually seen the boss of the sealed cave,
it's probably 0 or.
I think only when I've actually had to do. Is there one for doing the sealed cave, or is it just opening it?
No, there is one for completing sealed cave, for getting the item and killing the boss.
Yeah, I think I had that once.
Yep. Chat should be very exciting. It is time. We have the hook at the top of Ordeals here. So Ordeals potentially required for underground access. We didn't see any of the restricted bosses here, so. Get Ogopogo on those 50% waves off the table as well pretty quickly here, which will be nice.
Yeah. One of the spots I like seeing Ogopogo at.
Where Ogopogo is not busily mauling you.
Yeah. It's not quite as nope there.
It's also you get a full heal right beforehand, which is also pretty great, so. Get all those good things all at the same time. But yeah, one piece of loot making the difference in this early game. Konkers was making good time. Probably a hair ahead on early checks, and now Blaze has taken a small lead here.
Yep.
So what's your play now? What do you do here, Imperial? What's on? Where are you going next with this hook?
Honestly, I wouldn't actually be contemplating the hook at this point.
Just take it and dive it?
I mean, it doesn't always work for me, but it would be very, very tempting.
I really like that aggressive mindset. Certainly, you know, you could catch a couple of. You've seen a couple of really bad bosses already. You know, you catch a couple lucky breaks, and you could be underground real fast.
Well, you either end up underground real fast or hitting your face on a wall for a little while.
We've got a Mist Dragon check now here for Blaze, and he is going to pick up a Sand Ruby. So, you want Rudy in your party?
With this party comp, I wouldn't, but we'll see what Blaze thinks.
Blaze does not know what character is there yet, so has not made the check. We know. Konkers knows. Blaze does not know that though. Ooh, Blizzard Spheres. Gonna snag up some of those charm arrows that we mentioned earlier, just to have extra arrows lying around for Rosa. Sees Rydia and is turning in the Sand Ruby here, so is gonna take Rydia. Who do you drop for Rydia here though? You got 2 roses? Maybe is a Rosa drop?
Oh, a cane.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, if you only have one really good weapon for cane, I can see that.
Still a lot of boxes to be opened, interestingly enough. Possibility of setting up reflect strategies here for the end game, committing to a, tricaster composition. Rydia is really reliant on D machines as well in these flags, just because of the sheer amount of experience she needs to get Nuke online, so...
Yeah. I don't usually take Rydia.
It's interesting. I mean, again, everybody's got different... I think that's the biggest thing that these flags really show off, is everyone's got different comfort comps, everyone's got different ideas of what's good and what's needs to be... how they want to change their compositions and everything. So I always just find it's real interesting, because it's not a play that, like, everybody is sitting here going, yeah, I'd make that play. It's like, wow, that's a little bit different than what a lot of people would do, and I appreciate that. Conker's still hammering away at the Mist Dragon here, a little at a time. Should be done pretty soon here. This is, again, showing off one of the grand tenets of Free Enterprise. It's not necessarily if you can do something. It's if you're racing, it's necessarily how fast you can do something is really what matters.
And that is not really going so fast.
Nope, burning through a lot of arrows here, just jumping an awful lot here with just those baseline spears, so... Plus, the thing is, with this low DPS, you don't get telespells until after the fight. Ogopogo could be scary.
Yeah, that actually could be.
But yeah, so down goes Mist Dragon for Konkers.
And there's a Baigan.
So yeah, Blaze sticking to the overworld here. This is at the defensive football spot. And Rydia is down right now, so this might potentially be a Rydia anchoring setup here, or saving Rydia for slingshotting later, but she is currently down for moonblazewolf. Oh, it's a what? That's one objective down once we have underground access, so... On the table here is there's our forge available to us. It's also an Excalibur for Cecil.
Yep. That's Cecil that I think they all benched.
Yeah, both sides have found, added, and benched Cecil, so... Yeah, this is the last fight on Ordeals for Konkers. Life pots are here in Fagul as well, so Blaze is gonna stock up. I personally am still waiting for the Final Fantasy IV After Years flag, where Kain can equip the Excalibur. That would be pretty great.
interesting thought there.
Look, I am full of bad ideas. I just want to throw that out there.
Everybody has bad ideas sometimes.
Important to have those bad ideas, right? Who else is going to have them? Yeah, we're just seeing a bunch of big waves here for Konkers as he continues pushing through. I mean, healing more than adequate here with Rosa and Tella. Cure 2 is a good spell at this point in the game when your characters have about 400 hit points. It's healing for about 100 on group. So, you know, gonna work through this. Time for triple Rosa. It is very doubtful that Blaze decides to add on a third Rosa here, but you never know. He might make me the happiest runner ever. Look, I know what I like. I'm gonna brand bang it. What?
I guess I really can't say anything considering my tendency to, if at all possible, keep Cecil in the party.
See, I mean, everyone's got the characters that they like, so it's fine. It's good. Right? Everyone's allowed to like the things that they like. It's cool. Well, this is not a fun second boss to see here.
No.
Big thing with D-Lunars is that they start out with melee attacks. This spot hits really hard. Fire does percentage damage, and when there's only one left, it'll constantly counter with fire.
Well, it's down at least.
Yeah, I think that's the one weakness here. Since the health is split in half, it's a little bit less strong. But there's her pass, so there's Threemus access. Now possibly meaning that this is this could be a no moon seed. We find Earth Crystal, and if we find both Earth Crystal and the Baron Key down here.
Yeah.
I think we've run out of options, though.
Yep, looks like it's hook time.
So Keldorn, yes, while the Murasame altar does require the moon, the major thing here is that since we only need 3 of 4 objectives, which is one of the real interesting flags here, we may not need to do the Murasame altar, so it's interesting. One of the great challenges of these flags is that kind of, you know, deciding how fast the seed's potentially going to be and making decisions based on that, based on the fact that you only need to touch 3 of the objectives. Yep. It's one of the... one of the cooler things here, certainly.
And the variance that it can cause, I definitely like it.
Variance is important to have an exciting event. You've got to have that possibility for things to go horrendously wrong.
Or horrendously right.
Or excitingly correct, yes. I'm just used to when I play that things go horrendously wrong. That's a me thing.
I don't think it's really just a you thing.
No, it's definitely just a me thing. Oh, hi, Rosa. I'm into this. I'm really into this tonight. This is great.
I get the feeling there's going to be a point when there's enough roses.
Yeah, it's 5. 5 is the correct number. we could have Rosa, 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 and Quorum right now. So yeah, Blaze is looting here. Ooh, a Moonveil. Good find there for physical immunity. Alright, so we've got bombs down for Konkers of Bolt 3 from Tella. 2 party members alive though after that explodes, so lagging a little bit behind in experience can be a little bit problematic here. Just sees the illusion nails.
Yeah, and there's the Mad Ogre chest.
I mean, this is certainly what he was looking for. Again, cashing out the hour. We were talking about this before the race, weren't we?
Yep.
You know, we also found hourglasses for sale in Evelyn, so not exactly a big deal, but yeah, cashing it out. And is raising Rydia, so is going to put experience on Rydia here.
Interesting.
I mean, gonna get slingshot experience because she is more than 5 levels behind the party, so gonna get the double. So gonna try and take advantage of that here. Konkers is now in Fabul, gonna find these life potions, so probably gonna stock up. Knows that Rydia's in the seat, but hasn't gotten her, so... So you love Cecil, right? You like keeping Cecil in your party?
Yeah. I'm weird like that. I actually like the classic agility anchor because I know exactly what level to put him to. No guessing games.
45. 53 if you have a Dwarfax.
Exactly.
There's only one agility anchoring level that matters anyway. That's right, everybody. Level 57 for him. Jeebus, and you put it on a different character to keep their relative agility up. it's a lockdown. It's a boss we can lock down with an hourglass in the first spot.
Or if not an hourglass, isn't this, or don't they just attack each other once the main one's down?
They will start attacking each other, and Kane is gonna help out with this. Still equipped with the mute knife from the giant or from the ogre's fight, but is gonna help their 500 HP cause pretty quickly here. So they're gonna just get dropped pretty fast. Blue cloak. This is a relatively Alright, we're very back.
And we've got to the Mad Ogre's chest again.
Blaze is a pan. And a key to Baron. That's important.
Yeah. Very nice.
Pan and the key to... This could be the end of the seed, actually. This could be it. Like, Pan's a triple check, right? Or a double check here. Pan's a three check? Or it's a 3-check. It's the Sylphs and the 2 from Sheila. Yeah, this could be just over right now. Darkness Crystal or Party Rock puts us in go mode.
That plus there's also the check for completing Baron.
Yeah, it's true. That's a double check as well, potentially, if you're feeling good about your party here. And there was an edge, too, so, speaking of feeling good about your party and maybe not selling an Excalibur or two.
Definitely would be feeling good about the party right now.
Yeah. Blaze looking every inch the top runner that he is. Conker's putting on a good show here, certainly. Just again got a little bogged down on ordeals and sort of just slipped back and slipped back and slipped back from that, which is a little tough.
Yeah. Definitely can be a little bit tough there. I know if I was in that place, I would probably be feeling really nervous about being behind.
Yeah, especially with an overworld with no extra locations done, and you're at about 50 minutes, and you're not underground yet on a hook route. It seems like it could be a little bit daunting. Again, kind of knowing what these runners are facing. I know you're in the tournament, correct, Imperial? You are doing the thing.
Definitely. And my last match, I was dealing with the hook route for a while.
Yeah, tough hook route, or a couple of wipes or something where it's just like something just went real slow, and it's real easy to feel behind.
Yeah. And it's nerve-wracking when you start getting to feel like you're real behind.
That's Dark Imps and one of the Millins here. We'll see if Blaze is interested in maybe taking on the Imps here with one of those hourglasses, possibly.
Imps are definitely not bad to deal with if you've got the hourglasses.
As long as the character throwing the hourglass doesn't die, because the Imps will take. We've got a good enough anchoring situation that they'll get the swings after the hourglass goes off. So
that's good.
That's fantastic, because now you're good. Now the fight's over.
Yep. I would definitely be very glad, considering how hard those imps hit.
Yep, cycle through your party members. Is gonna go for life glitches too. Gonna hit that weak spell as well. I like this. This is the good stuff.
Yeah, it will make it a lot quicker.
Also gives you a lot of experience.
Oh yeah, that too.
So I'm assuming that this boss was going to be, that the Blue Cloak was going to be given the speed at which Blaze was under. I don't remember what the boss this was. Things were breaking up, but I'm going to assume that it was that it was what's
Water
her face?
hag.
Thank you. I can words, I promise.
Oh, apparently it was the football gauntlet.
Again, this is an easy spot. There's a couple of eggs in this football gauntlet, so there are honestly a couple of freebies in this one. So this one's actually a real good spot for the gauntlet, in terms of getting it done.
I've actually never seen it at this spot before.
Well, you're in for a treat.
Now I get to know for the future what it contains. And a protect ring.
Yep, so that's a whole lot of nothing from a key item standpoint, but if you want to keep one of your roses alive, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Good XP there.
And immediately with that pan, unsurprisingly, headed north.
Yeah, with the number of checks that's gonna open up, there's not really much reason to go elsewhere at the moment.
Yeah, no need to throw that time away when you can just do freebies, do free checks, get free items.
Yep.
Konkers takes a wipe to the gauntlet here, so has to take another shot at it again. DPS fairly low here. Speaking of great weapons for Kayn, there is a Dragoon Spear, so that's gonna make Blaze's grind options all fantastic if Sirens are for sale.
Oh yeah. Gotta love the Dragoon Spear for grinding.
Assured one-shots on Dragon Eggs. Jumps will assuredly one-shot Gold Dragons on the Moon. It's good times.
Yeah, with the ones on the moon, it actually makes it even possible to not have to necessarily use hourglasses up there.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. I mean, we do have them for sale on these flags, which is still kind of nice. So there is at least that. Yeah, the Blade Man fight's the dangerous one here, because they get 3 actions. They hit decently hard, so you have to be a little bit careful. This is not a fun encounter in vanilla either, so...
Oh, there's the Darkness Crystal.
So, Moonblazewolf is now officially in go mode.
Not the fastest time, or not the fastest I've seen for seeds, but this one's gonna be. This one looks like it should probably be fairly quick at this point.
I mean, this is a straight shot to Baron at this point in time. Gonna, yep, there we go. Gonna go clean up Baron real quick, liberate the castle, and then, well, no party rock today. Just gonna head to the moon and mop this party, mop this show up, I think. Blaze also sitting on 10 key items as well, so lots of key items coming out, so experience will be good here. So Blaze absolutely in the driver's seat here?
Yeah, definitely. And Conker's still working at the gauntlet.
Yeah, through probably the fight that's probably one of the scarier fights there, honestly, now, and is getting down to the couple of the easier fights here, honestly, so a couple of jumps and a couple of swings here, and the Grudgers are down. I think we're at one more, and we're good.
admit the number of times when I've done that, and it's like, I just keep going, is this the last fight? No. Is this the last fight? No. Because I keep losing count.
Yeah, it's always a little annoying here finding. Well, you do find elements here at the first spot, in Baron Castle. Again, should not be a big concern. Gonna berserk the Edge, gonna berserk the Kane, and going to go to town real quick.
Yeah, that'll be over quick.
But we're gonna get some leg.
Leg did not last long.
Interesting in this fight, by the way, Rubicant is actually a mage class enemy, so the Mute Dagger does quad damage. So Edge just absolutely ends Rubicante's life.
Wow, didn't know that one. Interesting. Yep.
Second boss is gonna be the dual Baron guards.
Oh, that's easy. Really fast Baron.
Yep, gonna throw the mute bell out rather than burning off an hourglass just to stop the counterattacks, and then it's just gonna dumpster this boss too.
Yeah, they're going fast.
Edge is tired of this place.
We're getting out of here, and we're getting out of here now.
Gotta sit through this 90-second cutscene, so might as well at least do the bosses. Hi, Cecil number 2.
Hi, Cecil number 2.
Hi, please, why must you toy with our feelings like this?
I was thinking for a second, but nope.
Toying with our feelings. I have so many of them. So last egg here, I believe, is a green dragon, which will divide into 2 jumps most likely. Nope, not quite dead.
But one of the Canes certainly is.
Rose is also not having a good day here. This is not what you want to see right now.
No.
We need to get this Kane in the air stat. Did Punch tell we don't need him alive? Kane is up. We should be good. There we go. And we're through.
Good to see that.
Konkers wraps up the gauntlet. Good on him, so he's going to get underground in about an hour. Blaze has liberated Baron Castle. 2 objectives down and the moon to go. So I think
really feeling for Konkers on this one. I've been in the spot like that before.
This is
not a comfortable place to be.
No, this isn't fun. This is literally the tale of one treasure box, right? Blaze gets that defense sword off the back of Hobbs that Konkers doesn't get, and use it to push through the overworld pretty quickly because it gets his cane, you know, in overdrive.
Yeah.
And then that's that. That's like the entire seed right there, right? It's not that Konkers couldn't do things. It's just Konkers couldn't do things fast because none of his characters had gear.
And with the physical fighters, gear is pretty important.
Yep, gear is absolutely king in that situation, so... Oh, hey, Sirens. It's just a fat pile of cash at this point. Feels pretty sensible there, just to cash out.
definitely. And this is not going to be that much longer at this rate.
Conker's going to Forge, though, so it does have both halves of the Excalibur as well, so it's going to go Forge that Excalibur. So probably taking a path that looks very similar to what Blaze had done earlier. See if there's another Rosa up here. It'll make me happy.
And there's a Rosa.
I'm so happy.
You're having a very good night for Rosas.
I'm so happy. I'm enjoying this very much. We're not going to get the true dream, which is Quint Rosa, Quint Zerking, but hey, that's fine. Konkers is on the board here, and Blaze is going straight to the Murasame altar to mop up the last necessary objective. Oh, nope, first, gotta grind.
Oh, I didn't realize you could get those with sirens in that spot.
Yep. This is the easiest place to go to get them, other than maybe doing bottom floor of Cape Hamet.
And here, I always ran all the way down towards where the save point is.
I mean, that's useful, because if you're going to do those spots first, then that's a sensible thing to do, honestly. Because you've got the save point down there, you can patch up.
But when this spot's the first target, makes more sense to go this spot.
Yeah, the only thing you don't want to do is lose your grind. That's a big waste of time, but hey, we'll see. Getting that 180,000 experience points here. There's Cure 4 on Rosa. There's Cure 4 on Rosa number 2.
And another siren.
I mean, you've got Kane with a Dragoon Spear here.
Really true. No reason not to.
Just keep cashing out here, I guess. But yeah, this is gonna be a super efficient grind with 10 key items here. But yeah, Dragoon Spear Kane with a White Mage with Sirens is this ends up arguably being the most efficient grind in the game, time and resource wise.
Yeah, I love this grind.
I've done enough of this grind to know that it's real good. Especially if you don't use hourglasses, you can attempt to get doubles if you don't use the hourglass if your party's powerful enough. Try to get 2 life potions on the same dragon, which is a feat worth doing, interestingly enough. Kane jumps can help with the timing on that as well.
Tricky, but if you can get it to work, it's great.
You can speed up your grind a little bit more, but it's really hard to do and unsafe. Please note that while techniques may be additionally full of swag and or bonus experience, are also not potentially safe.
Very true. There's been so many times where I've tried to repeat stuff I've seen on these races, just to find it's not as easy as they make it look.
So we got Konkers fighting Bahamut, and this seed though.
Wow. All that grinding for a water hag.
I mean, this water hag hits for 1,000 to swing. It's just, you know. King of Dragons has nuked Konkers, and Konkers is going to take a reset here from Dwarf Castle and have to start over here. Edge died. Edge got melee twice for 1100 a pop. He dead.
Fair enough.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look.
Well, we weren't going to find the Earth Crystal down on Earth. There it is.
Yeah. So pretty much the other 3 objectives were the best way to handle it.
I mean, they were basically the only way to handle it. Basically a dead linear seed here. Again, just as we recapped from earlier, it just happens to be that Blaze got his hands on a defense sword early on and used that to do the business end of the business. Blaze seems happy with his levels. He's going back to Earth, it looks like, to wrap this party up. Pass and crystal in hand.
Yeah. Pass is definitely quicker than making that long walk.
Yep. Well, it's time.
Definitely.
You know what time it is.
Yep. Time to see whose butt we're gonna be kicking.
I thought it was time to make the donuts. Shoot. Can't believe it. I can't believe we're fighting Threemus.
Can't wait to see who we get this time.
Flags are out. Chat's excited. Chat's always excited for this part. Konkers is through the first boss. Gonna find Volvalis in the second boss spot. Not very scary here. Ed should be able to drop this, even from the back row. Fairly short order. Don't we, Edge? We need him alive. But yeah, about that time. Who we got?
Chat's giving lots of lovely suggestions for what it could be.
Hey, everyone's got their favorites. There's over 450 now. It's pretty wild. There's just so many.
And I have no idea what that's from.
That is Jevil from Deltarune, the additional hidden boss. His sprite's so big it breaks the screen. I love it to death. So yeah, doing some setup here. Gonna nerf the first Big Bang with this slow to also take some turns away from Threemus. Probably gonna need to patch that cane up because boy, does that hurt like heck.
Did the roses get white, or is it just gonna be pure berserking?
They got white from the Murasame altar fight, so they should be good. So it's gonna be looks like this is probably because there's a Star Veil going out on bottom Rosa right now.
Ah.
So we're gonna. So we're gonna need some hybrid strats here. We've got Edge Berserk. We got Edge Berserk. We got Can Berserk. We've got a Star Veil out on bottom Rosa here. Interestingly enough, I'm not seeing any channeling of holy magic here. Is this just gonna be a 2 Berserker kill, maybe?
Might take some time, but
with 2 roses, you got nothing but time.
very, very true.
But yeah, so Baron Key Pan for Konkers here from Dwarf Castle, so again pushing through. And likely to take a similar path here to drop the freebies and then just try to finish the seed here. Bacchus wines for sale in Dwarf Castle as well. But yeah, very safe, just 2 Berserkers and 2 Rosas. Should be pretty academic at these health totals, though.
Yeah. I mean, wipes could happen, but it's not likely.
Yeah, not interested in it at all, looks like. Just... That Cure 4 not hitting for a lot from that top Rosa.
Yeah, that's actually kind of not so good, because that's still potentially Big Bang deathable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unlikely that we're going to see a second Cure 4 here, but just it's always interesting when the thing with Rosa is that Rosa just doesn't do quite as much healing a lot of the time without a little bit of gear, because, you know, Cure 4, while it does have a pretty high multiplier, it does hit only usually around for about 1250-ish when cast on groups of 4.
And Konkers is heading through Self Cave.
Yep, no big surprise here. While I'm in chat mentioning goodbye Defense Sword, you've served Kane well. It's like, yeah, actually, the Defense Sword again was the tide turner.
Definitely.
Gone now. Gone forever.
Well, getting thrown's it's a better way to go than just getting sold to a vendor.
There is no greater sacrifice to be made than to be sold to a vendor to be turned into sirens and or cure 3s. We need these things. They're so important. I go to the vendor in Tommer, and he's got a stack of 17 crystal armors behind the counter that are not for sale that he bought from other adventurers. What can I say?
Very true. Because I cannot see a reason to use crystal armors. Really, I can't.
If you have an Avenger, it's fantastic, but yeah. Oh, Edge dies to the counter nuke there, just gets dropped. And here's our first reflected white of the fight, so now it's time for now it looks like it's time for some push here.
Not bad damage there.
No 5k is nothing to cough at, certainly. Konkers gets the Darkness Crystal here from Sheila too, so Konkers at 116 hits go mode here. So good on Konkers, he's just got to go clean up Baron and then launch the whale and he'll be good to go here.
Oh, and falling rocks.
With the party at full health, no less. That's what you like to see.
It's about over.
It is indeed
it is over. Couldn't see the flash on that one.
Yeah, I think Blaze is one of the runners who turns off flash effects because I greatly appreciate that that's an option, honestly. Good on the eyes. But hey, congratulations to moonblazewolf moving to 1-0. Official time was 1 hour, 17 minutes, 15 seconds.
Definitely a good time.
Yes, let me go make faces at Blaze and see if he wants to come in here and chat with us. Blaze is talkative. I'm sure he'll talk for a while. Hi, Blaze.
Hello.
Congratulations on your win tonight.
Hey, thank you.
So, if I told you that this entire seed hinged on one treasure chest, would you believe me?
It was a really uncomfortable seed to play. So I think at the beginning I would have said no, but the way that all played out, I felt really, really nervous all the way through. Basically everything past the hook route, I felt really, really uncomfortable with how that all played out trying to finish, because Konkers is a really good player and really knows the game super well. So I was just a little worried if he was playing really, really aggressive. It wasn't gonna turn out well for me.
So the interesting thing is, it wasn't the treasure chest then that you think it was. You know how you plucked that defense sword off of the back of Mount Hobbs?
Oh, that was not. Yeah, that was a big sigh of relief. I felt really good about that. And then there were like 3 more roses in the next 5 minutes, and I felt really bad about that. But it was pretty good overall.
I felt really good about that.
Yes, you did.
I enjoyed every minute of that. I really was wishing somebody would take more than 3 roses. But yeah, no, that defense sword that you had that Konkers did, and Konkers was playing very aggressively and got out in front of you early. But then went up on the mountain with basically no weapons, climbed ordeals with no weapon upgrades. And the only weapon upgrade you had was 1 defense sword, interestingly enough.
Yeah, it was one of those seeds where the treasure was just really, really stingy. I can't remember a watery pass that was that bad. And that's one of the things playing this format I get really excited about now, is when you start with that teller, you're like, yes, I can open like 10 chests in watery pass. I mean, Kane can equip basically everything, so it's like, I'm gonna find something good up there, but no, not really tonight. But thankfully that defense sword absolutely bailed me out. You're totally right.
Yeah, it ended up being really interesting in that way, because that was like the only difference, was that you were behind by 3 minutes going into ordeals, and then all of a sudden just opened up the seed, and then just sort of, I think you worked through things pretty efficiently, honestly. I mean, I know it might not have felt good because everything was pretty free, which tends to be super nerve-wracking because it means that, it's going to be super close.
Yeah, it was really free and really linear. The hook route wasn't too bad. Once you got underground, everything was through Dwarf Castle, and like a gambler, like the kind of player I am sometimes, I just decided to go ahead and take out those Dark Imps in the Fey March for basically no reason, and that didn't feel good afterwards. And just, there was just a lot of little things like that. Grinding up for like a big boss fight at the Murasame spot, and then finding that it was Water Hag, stuff like that was just really not a good feeling.
Yeah, the water hack was a little bit disappointing after all that grinding.
I mean, I needed to do it one way or the other, but I mean, it was just kind of, if I had known that, I probably would have just done eggs. Like, I would have just powered through the water hag and done eggs back on Earth, because it would have been a little quicker. And this was also an example of a seed where I should have just grabbed the single Cecil, because in the back of my mind, I was like, Tell is more valuable than Cecil as my anchor right now, because he's got weak. And then I get up there, and like Kane is just like one-shotting the gold dragons with his spear, and I'm like, oh yeah, never mind, I don't even need weak.
Yeah, just getting that extra Dragoon Spear in your lap was just sort of the icing on the cake there, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out really well at certain points, but it was mostly just once you realize kind of how the pieces fit together. And again, knowing that Konkers is just a good player and could absolutely rush through a seed like that with not a lot of trouble, it definitely made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, even all the way through my Z fight, which was very slow as well. So, I'm really glad that I was able to get the win tonight. Definitely don't feel like I played my best, but at the same time, I haven't had this is the first match of the league, even though we got a 1-0 next to both of our names, and it felt really good to kind of be on stage a little bit more again and just kind of play through some of that. So I'm really glad to have gotten the win.
Yeah, that's really all you can ask for, right? Getting on the board.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's so many good players. Like, it's just crazy how many people have picked this up during and since the Fabul Gauntlet. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that talent rush that we had last year between the league, the Highway to the Threemus Zone 2, where everybody else was in the Hummingway Open and really getting good at the game doing that, and then turned around and, you know, took it to a bunch of people in the Fabul Gauntlet. And I feel like the same things just happened again. There's just really, really good players all over the place. So anytime you get a win, you're going to feel really good about it.
Looks like Konkers is stocking up on hourglasses here, with intent to go on up to the moon as well. So, you know, again, route's pretty much the same. I think the only thing Konkers didn't do was Dark Imp, honestly. Ended up skipping that because he had his freebies and his go mode all together.
And to be honest, that's probably not going to hurt.
Yeah, I'm sensing maybe he's gonna steal some sirens here. I don't know. I was feeling very, like I said, kind of uncomfortable towards the end, and I found those sirens up in the Hummingway shop, and if they weren't there, I was gonna reset down and steal some. So, and then the other interesting thing at the very end, because my damage with edge was really bad, was I was really debating if I wanted to open the treasury or not and try to dig out like a good weapon for him, but I decided just to go with 2 mute knives, and boy, I would not recommend that to anybody else. That was not great. So
Yeah, when Edge doesn't have weapons, the damage is
yeah,
a little
he
bit
did have a
painful.
couple swords to chuck though, so that was good.
Looks like Konkers has just decided to jump kill the very first. Well, oh wow, and pops an Avenger out of the first chest in Tower of Babel here.
Not bad at all.
Gonna get that gear. Question. It looks likely that Konkers is hunting for a... Is Konkers hunting for a 10th key item here? You know what, 2, 4, 6, 9? Yeah, he might be chasing a 10th key item here.
Just want to let everybody know too. We do have a little bit of music coming up, so can look forward to that once my credits are done rolling here. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped out with the race tonight. Thanks to Asuka and Bursic working behind the scenes, doing the restream and the tracking, and thanks to you, Demi, and Imperial Dragon as well, doing the comms. I can't wait to watch it back.
So, Imperial, we've got Odin. Berserk noting Konkers didn't get the pink tail out of the chest in the Fame Arch. Okay, thank you. Oof. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, without having opened up the extra chest there, so yeah, Konkers is probably chasing 10 key items before grinding here. Main theme from Final Fantasy 1, I know that one.
Yep.
I
It's a
occasionally,
good one.
I occasionally play a game and I hear that song on occasion.
Is it bad that I've actually never played Final Fantasy 1?
No, not really. I was just talking about the randomizer. I've actually never finished the NES game. Speedrun two other versions of it, but there's another. Would you like a holy sword? Would you? To ask Board, every time you ditch a Cecil, does it just like randomly add an Excalibur to the pool of items that you see? Is that how that works?
Well, it's either Excaliburs or it's Crystal Swords. One of the two of them. With the way that I've seen things.
I mean, I'm just saying, just you need a crystal sword in these trying times.
Or when you don't have him, you end up with like 5 Crystal Swords in our seed.
It's a lot of gold.
Actually, I might be exaggerating. It might have only been 3, but still.
It's just a silly, silly amount of gold. That's what it is.
Very true. Yeah, when you get that kind of stuff, you really don't ever have to worry about money again.
No, this is true. Like, you get infinite gold because you get all these holy swords that you can just kind of stare at.
And that's just the gold from those. That's not even taking account of the other stuff you end up with.
There's a lot of other stuff, certainly. Ring? That's an upgrade for Kane, certainly, I think. Conker's just stocking up to get up to the moon here.
And Ursic, I think every Cecil dismissed replacing a ninja sword or ninja shirt with a holy sword. I think I would prefer that. I'm not terribly fond of the ninja shirts.
I mean, it is Edge's best piece of armor. It gives him so much of a boost in terms of like magic defense on Zeromus. It's honestly fantastic.
But the thing is, he's the only person that can equip it.
Yeah, I mean, but we've seen a lot of Edge in these flags, so
True.
So it could be good. Help your Edge out. Make him powerful and strong and happy.
I've seen an Edge start a couple of times, but I seem to get a lot more of the characters I really don't want.
That is a fair point, certainly. But yeah, just Conker's taking advantage of one of the things you can do is Edge can steal sirens from alerts here, so he's just gonna nick a bunch of sirens so that he can get his levels. Gotta get your levels.
Yeah, when I found out this was possible, I was very happy because if you've got an Edge, that means you don't have to worry about whether or not you can find it in the shops.
That is very true. It's a good concern to not have, certainly.
And the number of times I've seen them just not in the shops.
Yep, so he's gonna take out the alert here, does summon one Stone Man real quick. He's gonna heal the party and just take it down real fast here. Just get through this chest. Happy with the number of sirens that he's grabbed, it looks like.
Pretty bow, but it's not really that useful at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you'd need to have at least 2 roses to make that interesting, right? I mean, it is a fantastic bow, though. Like, it's a nice thing to see in the early mid game. It's basically Sid's best weapon as well, just because of the 15 agility.
Yeah. I love finding them early on.
I do too. And then when I'm done using them, I can convert them into a pile of cash. And there's a crystal shield.
Not what I'd be wanting to see if I was looking for Kia.
On 9, chasing 10 still.
And of course, the lovely long cutscene.
I loved this cutscene as a kid, though. It made me cry.
Yeah, when you're playing this normally, it's all nice, but when you're trying to hurry, you just sort of are just spamming the button saying, okay, are we done yet?
Cutscene over. Time for second cutscene.
Or in my case, somehow once or twice when I was first starting this, yeah, ended up accidentally, because I still wasn't used to going through the whale, I ended up doing the cutscene like 3 times. Because I hit the wrong spot.
That happens.
Especially if you haven't played the game in at least 5 years before you pick up the randomizer.
If anybody tells you that they've never missed input when they're playing this game, they're lying to you. Don't believe them, and don't let them lie to you like that.
Everybody does stupid misinput at some point.
That said, I think my worst ever missed input was trying to plink out something and missing by 7. I don't even know how I missed by like 7 spots, but
wow,
it was real bad.
Exactly! Those steering controls are so counterintuitive.
Look, if you tell me that you've got a driver's license that lets you drive interstellar whales, I wouldn't believe you anyway. here's Dragons, so it looks like Konkers is going to try and pick up some grind off of these irons, knowing that the rest that if he does need more, there are still for sale. A good thing to know, certainly.
So, life went off a little too early.
Yeah, there's this tiny timing window that you can get doubles even when stopped if you time it just right, but it's like one tick, so it's super hard. As you can see, with only 9 key items, Conker's only getting 90 grand from this fight here.
It's not bad, but it's definitely going to take a little longer than otherwise.
Yep. Do a little patching up here. Gonna burn through that fellow's magic pool a little bit.
Tella's getting punched. Well,
Tella-
stabbed, actually.
Tella, no! Tella, why? Tella, come back! I think Tella's dead.
Yeah, probably. Well, there's Cure 4 on Rosa.
We're still grinding though.
Yep.
Not quite there yet. Yeah, thank you, Scholar. Rest in peace. You were a good man, but now you are a dead man.
Anchoring for the party.
Hugging the floor. Tella, because the floor is not going to hug itself.
Well, it's either that or he's just testing out the gravity to make sure it's still functional.
I mean, if you've ever played Push B to Jump, if you're outside, the gravity is not functional. The floor is so lonely, oh god. Oh boy.
One of these days I need to actually go mess with that a little bit. I think I touched the push B to jump flags like once. The day it was put in, just sort of never actually looked at it again.
You know, sometimes you need to practice the difficult competitive flags because you're trying to get a lot of good practice in and improve and get better. And sometimes you just want to do silly things. And you know, we are in the middle of a competition and all, and you know, there's a lot of talk about these flags, and the flags are coming up for later on in the table stage of this tournament. But you know, you can also just have some silly fun with this game. There are some very silly fun flags out there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interesting stuff that people have put together with the flag.
You know, absolutely. And so, you know, always find that interesting. But there's always good stuff to play. Things that are just, you know, options for everybody, I think is really the important part, honestly.
And for every skill level.
That is correct. And, you know, on the Discord and such, I'm going to plug the Discord again. You know, we do want to support players of all skill levels. I think we find that to be really, really important. So. Konkers looks like done grinding. Heading on in.
Think so.
Getting ready to wrap this party up, because making time here. Again, just toughing it out a little bit here.
I'm one of those people that I just never forfeit if I can help it. And finishing a seed just feels to me like it's a win no matter what.
I have a lot of respect for that point of view. As a serial forfeiter, I have a lot of respect for that point of view.
Hey, if I can't always win, and if I don't win that often, at least I finish them.
That's valid. I just like to go to sleep. Just win or lose, I just know I'm gonna just sleep it off. Much like in so many other things with this game, both point of views are just fine and good and valid, so.
Well, at least one thing we know is, this isn't gonna be a very hard fight.
No, Conker's gonna have a ton of fun with this one, at least. Edge did not have a ton of fun. No, Edge did not have a ton of fun with this fight up for either player. Edge just catching those water hag elbows.
Water Hag says, "Here's your fun." Edge is on the floor.
He does need to off his tele here though, because he did use the cabin in the. He did use the cabin inside of the whale, so just has tele off himself here.
Rest in peace, Tella and Edge.
But mostly tele.
Yeah, mostly Tella.
Earth Crystal for Conkers, Crystal for Conkers. He's gonna get to wrap this party up. A solid showing on a seed that could definitely throw you off. You know, didn't get that defense sword early, and then things sort of. Again, not that he couldn't do it. I mean, Conkers was doing everything. It's just, again, just being able to do it as fast as possible would be very difficult. So, gotta give him some credit for pushing through here.
the hook spots sometimes can be really awful.
Yeah, it's true, and sometimes it's just it's all damage. A lot of the time, it's just damage output, so it tends to be the important thing. That's the hard part.
Damage input or damage output, and not screwing up simple mechanics like I do.
Possibly looking for. He's gonna give us a look at the treasure here, see if we can maybe grab an upgrade for Edge, or Kane really doesn't have an upgrade. He's got a already pack an Avenger and a Dragoon Spear, so should be a-okay on that front. Maybe some armor upgrades. So his Gauntlet's good.
Oh, and an apple.
Useful for Rosa, certainly, you know. That's a tiara, that's great. Don't really need that moon veil, but gonna take it anyway. Life staff, there's wow, the Rosa procurement kit is here.
That definitely would be nice to improve those heals.
Yeah, no, Tiara also basically assures that even though she's going to only be at around 2,000 health, that she'll have the defensive stats to take most big bangs successfully. So, should be super happy about that. Will make life a ton easier here. But yeah. Level 46 Rosa, 3 Berserkers.
Yeah, this should be pretty straightforward.
A standard composition here, certainly, and this is gonna go take it directly to Zeromus now. Pop on by, say hi, see how he's doing today. Probably
See
ruin
how
his...
it's going? Then punch him in the face.
Then punch him in the face and ruin his dinner party. Why must we punch Zeromus in the face? He's just trying to have dinner.
I think it's because we can.
I can't believe we just punched Zeromus because we can.
It's either because we can or because he's evil. One of the two.
I mean, we've got multiple copies of Kane in the party. And I'm not saying that Kane would stab his old employer in the back. But, you know...
Well, he seems to have a record for doing a lot of that.
But, you know, maybe he's gonna stab his old employer in the back. I don't know. So we didn't see a single Silk Web all seed.
No, we didn't.
I'm like looking at Konkers, looking at his inventory, going, "Oh, we didn't see Silk Webs at all this seed."
If they were anywhere, it wasn't in a shop.
But yeah, first Kane has the Avenger already. We've got a Berserk Edge here. We've got Slow coming out from Tella.
Edge is not having a good day.
It's just having a very bad day today. But yeah, 2 Berserkers already set up. Gonna stick the Cure 4 here to keep Edge in one good happy piece here. Gonna get the other Kane up and angry here, if this Berserk goes off before the Big Bang. And then we're just on our way. Alright, does not get this Berserk off before the Big Bang, so...
Rest in peace, Stella.
Man, I can't believe Tell is dead again. But yeah, with the upgraded swords and everything, doing some pretty good work here. Also, you can see that with the upgraded gear on Rosa's healing for nearly 2,000 on the group instead of for like 1,300. So not a lot to be concerned about here. So the third Kane's online and just needs to sit and wait with this Rosa to keep the party alive, and this should be probably a one Berserk cycle with the damage output, and we should be good to go. Shake number 2.
Who could have foreseen Tella dying? I think, considering his health total, just about everybody.
Look, now Tella's dead. I'm gonna go for the nerf on the Big Bang with slow number 2 here, so... Rosa catches the counter nuke, though, which is not... absolutely not what you wanted there. 25% chance. Looks like, though, pushes through to the damage threshold for the refill, so we should be okay. Go for the nerf with the Ether 2 potion here, and front Kane gets the counter nuke.
Wait, you can nerf with an Ember?
You can nerf with the heal potion, which is what the speedrun has done in the past. You can nerf with any item basically that has an effect. You can nerf with the crystal, which is oftentimes what Edward strats do because they do no damage. But yeah,
I knew about the crystal, I just didn't realize it actually applied to other items.
yep, pretty much any item. One Kane is down, but Rose is going to patch the rest of the party up at least.
I learned so many new and interesting things from these.
I think that's one of the really interesting things about Free Enterprise is that we've all learned a lot of new and interesting things from the game in terms of how Final Fantasy IV works.
I mean, even if it does at times seem like it's held together with scotch tape.
I mean, you know, the coding's a little weird, not gonna lie, but game holds up.
And rock's fallen.
Yay! That's my favorite part. Kane gonna have a celebratory wine.
Edge is joining the party. And there we go.
Edge joins the party a little late, though.
Well, he still got his drink.
We're good. We did it. Konkers did it. Shovel's down. We're out of here. 157.25. So get your GG's out for Konkers as well.
It was a good run.
It was a good run. It's a good seed. Always interesting. Can't believe that these races though make me pick between so many of my friends. I hate it.
I just spend the time cheering for my brother. It's so easy that way.
God, that's cheating. A family who plays so easy. Hi, Konkers.
Well, hello.
Good to hear from you.
Thank you. That was a lot of head bashing in that seed for me.
If I told you that it really was the tale of one treasure chest, would you believe me?
What was? Say that again?
If I told you that this entire seed hinged on one treasure chest, would you believe me?
Which treasure chest is that?
There was a treasure chest on the back of Mount Hobbs that had a defense sword in it.
Oh, dang. I did pick up a defense sword at one point, but man, that would have certainly made ordeals a lot easier.
Yeah, basically you were a couple of minutes ahead going on to ordeals, but you had no gear, so...
I know, I was...
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, like, do I just reset out and try and find some better gear? I'm already 10 minutes into this. Like, sunk cost fallacy, I'm not sure.
You were super committed at that point.
Yeah, at that point, I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna see this through. Then I got Zot and Babel. The tower is confused, so if you notice, I cleared Babel when I didn't need to. Oops. I was like, where's my little pop up for clearing Babel?
Okay,
Wait
so
a second.
we were trying to make you look good. We thought you were going into the tower with 2 checks to chase a 10th key item.
You just
well, I mean, that
ruined
was
that.
definitely in my mind as well, but
Yeah, we were.
No,
we were trying to make you look good. Okay.
well, I appreciate that.
Look, you are my friend. I have a lot of respect for you. I figured you were doing the right thing. It's okay. Thank you for letting us know you did the wrong thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see how Blaze played the seed. Learn from that. Get ready for the next race.
It should be a good and interesting watch, certainly.
Yep.
But yeah, so well, you got one more race. I know I didn't really talk to Blaze about it. Blaze was kind of the favorite in the group, but PMA K-Foul is no slouch, certainly, and does have the potential still to also kind of pick off both of you at this point. But I think watching the Blaze race might be good, but anything else you're going to do to prepare for that one last run in the first round of the tournament?
Just grind a bunch of seeds and get more comfortable. This was my first tournament match ever and first restream ever, so had a lot of nerves coming into it.
You've been around for Enterprise for like over 1.5 years, and this is your first restreamed race?
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years by now. But yeah, first restream race.
Ow.
Well, I took like a good year off after the World Series.
That's valid. It's fair. It makes a lot of sense. It's just yeah. Scala's talking about it. You were there at AGDQ 19. You were there. I remember that. I remember you.
Anyhow.
Anyway.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, thanks for all the restream crew, Asuka, Berserk, Dem, and Imperial Dragon. Thanks for putting all the effort and letting us do our race in front of all our friends.
And thank you for giving us a good race to watch.
You're welcome.
Well, I think we're done.
I think we're done. Everyone, take a Bacchus wine and have a good night.
So, Imperial, do you have anything else before we wrap this party up this evening?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah, I think pretty much said all I was needing to.
Did you have fun at least?
Yes, I did. This has been great.
That's the important part. The important part, I hope, is everybody out there had fun too. I think this was our last race of the night. I think we're done. I think everything is done. We're done with races today. We'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Absolutely. I think we'll be back tomorrow at noon. Let me double check the old calendar up for everybody here. I've got the calendar up. I am prepared. Not prepared. It's not ready for this. Haven't refreshed the calendar in weeks. Yeah, we got a couple of races, I think, at noon tomorrow. August the 9th? Or August the 8th. Nope. It's after midnight on the East Coast. Right, we do have a race at noon anyway. Got it. Got there in one. No, we have a race tomorrow at noon. Here on Free Enterprise, we do have Twisted Flags and Golden Hades going at it at noon. Races at noon, a couple at 1 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock tomorrow evening as well. But this was a lot of fun, Imperial, so thank you for doing commentary with me.
And thank you for your patience with me.
It's fine. Of course, thanks again to Bersic Badger for handling the yellow tracking duties tonight. Asuka424 for the restream. We're going to go raid X Pancraz 3-0 in groups already. So we're going to see. This is a runner you're going to get to see in the top 32, and of course, not going to get to see it for the next 5 weeks on stream. So give them your love. They kicked some butt. And we'll see y'all on the flip side tomorrow morning.
See you guys around.